Some budget handguns are cheap for a reason, but every now and then, one feels like somebody priced it wrong and nobody caught the mistake. I learned that after walking past the cheap row in a gun shop and picking the smart pistol because it cost real money. 5 minutes later, that thing choked in front of half the range. Slide locked weird, line went quiet, and I stood there pretending I wasn't embarrassed. That failure followed me home. A week later, I went back and stopped acting rich. I started picking up the guns I usually judge from 3 feet away. And the scary part? A few of them didn't feel like compromises. They felt finished, useful, mispriced. That's the rule today. Not cheap, not good enough. A Goldmine means a pricier gun can sit right beside it. And I still reach for the budget one. The last one made me question way too many purchases. That table was a flex. Expensive pistols laid out like trophies, better names, better triggers, the stuff people point at and go, let me try that. The SAR9 Gen 3 sat off to the side like the awkward cousin, and that's exactly how I bought it. Buddy dumped it on me for $370, and I said sure, like I was buying a spare tire. Cheap Turkish steel, decent case, range beater. A loaner, something you forget in the safe until somebody's gun quits. Nobody reached for the SAR first. They ran the fancy stuff, took their little victory groups, nodded at each other. Then one quiet guy already shot the expensive guns, picked up the SAR like he was killing time. No speech, no grin, one mag. He fired, stared at the target, looked back down at the pistol, and loaded another mag without saying a damn word. That's when my mood turned. Because 5 minutes later, another guy did the same thing. Same silence. Same one more mag move. By lunch, the SAR had more rounds through it than guns that cost twice as much, and nobody wanted to explain why. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't sexy. It just fit hands. Track soft. Broke clean. Like the price tag was a clerical error. Only real knock? The finish wore faster than I liked. That part stayed real. I brought it as the cheap extra, and it sat there making the expensive stuff look like props. And I still don't like what that did to my brain. I didn't even shoot the Ruger RXM the first time it clicked. I stood there with it in my hand, doing that quiet buyer math. Nobody admits. What stays stock? What gets changed? How ugly does it get after the first week? Am I stuck with some weird one-off? Or do I actually build around it without hating myself? Because that's usually where cheap handguns fall apart. Sticker price looks cute, then ownership turns into a trap. No support. Limited options. Parts that feel like an afterthought. The deal turns into a corner you painted yourself into. The RXM didn't give me that trapped feeling. That was the Goldmine moment. I turned it over and realized the value wasn't just the pistol, it was the plan. It didn't feel like a bargain bin gun tossed into the market. It felt intentional. Like somebody sat down and arranged the whole thing on purpose. And for a cheap gun, intentional gets dangerous. Because cheap usually means somebody removed things. With the RXM, it felt like somebody organized things. That's not compromise, that's strategy. It didn't try to win with emotion, it won after the receipt. I still had a complaint. It didn't have that rich, polished feel. Some guys pick it up and feel nothing. That nothing is why it bothered me. It kept making sense. And the last gun, that one didn't just make sense. It made me angry at what I used to pay for. He's the guy in our group who buys the cheaper version of everything and catches hell for it. Earlier this year, he walked in with a PSA Dagger Micro on his belt, and the roast started before he even sat down. Almost Glock. Midnight sale special. I laughed. The dagger looks like a coupon code became a pistol. Then the joke got old, and the gun didn't leave. 2 weeks later, we're in a parking lot after the range, and I catch myself scanning his waistband like I'm waiting for an update. Like I'm about to hear, yeah, it finally choked, still there. I wasn't judging the pistol, I was waiting on it to fail so my mouth could feel right again. So I asked him, all right, what went wrong with it? He goes, calm as hell. Nothing yet. That's why I'm still carrying it. My ego took a hit. That isn't hype. That's a standard. The Dagger Micro isn't trying to feel expensive. It's trying to feel familiar, small, and useful enough that you stop doing price math. Yeah, it has rough edges. You can tell where the money didn't go, and that's the problem. It still feels mispriced. I hate admitting it. The guy we mock kept being right. What came after that got uglier. Rain hammered the windshield last month, and I caught myself doing something stupid. I left my nicer gun at home because I didn't want to ruin it, like it was a damn pair of sneakers. I grabbed the Taurus G3C instead. Cheap holster, no expectations, just something I wouldn't cry over if it got soaked, scratched, or filled with grit. That whole Saturday turned into a grind, in and out of stores. Seatbelt on, seatbelt off. Truck seats soaked through. Shirt wet and clinging. Muddy parking lots. I kept drawing and reholstering like an idiot because the holster felt cheap and I didn't trust it to stay put. Then I stopped at this sketchy gas station on the way home. Slick pavement, bad lighting, one guy lingering too close to the trash can. Classic, why am I here? Stop. My hand slid under my wet shirt and landed on the G3C. And I didn't feel that usual knot. No, this is the cheap one voice. It just sat there solid. Grip didn't turn to soap. Controls stayed findable even with cold, wet hands. And that's when it hit me and pissed me off at the same time. Somewhere during the day, I stopped judging it. Only thing that still screamed, budget? Those basic sights. They work, but they feel like an apology. And here's the part I hate admitting. On ugly days, I keep reaching for the G3C first. What came after that wasn't a rain beater at all. It was the cheap gun that tried to replace a real carry gun, and that's where things got weird. A little while back, I stopped into one of those small shops where the budget guns all sit together like they've been grounded. Scratched slides, crusty trade-ins, that truck console for 10 years smell. And the Canik Mete SF sat in that row like somebody put it in the wrong cage. I grabbed it already, hunting for the lie. Cheap guns usually snitch fast. Trigger feels like gravel. Controls feel fake. Grip does something stupid. You find the shortcut and you walk away clean. Nothing. I'm turning it over, trying to get mad at it, and the guy behind the counter goes, "That one causes problems." My brain went straight to, "Oh great, it's a lemon." He just grins. No. It makes people ask why the expensive stuff costs so damn much. That line rode with me to the range. I loaded one mag and told myself I'd find the catch in the first few shots. First string, fast. Front sight snapped back to the same spot, and I froze mid-press, like an idiot. Not nice shooting, more like, wait, what the hell was that? I looked down at the gun like it cheated. And right there, my price snob crap cracked. Not gradually, like a switch. Because when a cheap gun feels cheap, you toss it back and forget it. When a cheap gun feels finished, it starts accusing every smart purchase you made. Only thing that still bugged me was the shape. A little chunky, all business, nothing to stare at, but I didn't put it back. And that's the part I don't like. Rain poured down my neck at 1 a.m. in a Walmart parking lot, and I finally saw how stupid I'd been. My hand went straight into my pocket and wrapped the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0, the little $300 just-in-case gun, I treated like a joke. I bought it like it was disposable, a pocket rocket, something cute I didn't have to respect. Then some dude started acting weird near my truck, and that little pistol stopped being cute real damn fast. Water ran to my collar, my heart started doing that ugly hammering thing, and the Bodyguard felt like the most important object I owned. Not because it looked good, because it was there, ready, in my pocket like it belonged there. That's what killed me. I carried it for weeks on low-risk days, like a backup. Then life got real. Late nights, gas stations, quick errands in bad areas. And every time I went to it, it didn't fight me. The grip filled my hand better than it had any right to. The trigger stayed smooth enough under stress that I didn't feel like I was wrestling a toy. Even with soaked clothes, it drew clean instead of snagging and turning into a circus. Only weakness? Those tiny sights. In low light, they flat out suck. I spent years chasing expensive guns, and the $300 pocket gun ended up being the one I bet my life on. That's not a gold mine, that's robbery. That's why this list bothered me. Budget guns are easy to laugh at until they keep working, keep carrying, and keep making expensive pistols feel like receipts with excuses attached. And I don't mean nice for the money. That phrase lets weak guns sneak in. These felt mispriced. I kept reaching past the respectable name and grabbing the bargain gun anyway. Not because I wanted to save money, because it made more sense. Now tell me your Goldmine pick. What cheap handgun shocked you? And what deal turned into regret? I'm Steve. And I still hate what this says about price, because my hand keeps reaching for the cheaper gun first.